10秒で全滅させてやる。ダムドパンクだ。
Hello everyone, today I have a new video for us. It's going to be the Eustass Captain Kid Leader, 5 life. For those of you who don't know what the leader does, it's end of your turn, you may turn the top card of your life cards face up, and then set up to one of your 3 to 8 cost supernova type characters active and turn them into a blocker, essentially. And that happens until the end of the opponent's next turn. So basically their entire turn you have one blocker for free with one of your 3 to 8 cost supernova types. Now let's get straight into the deck list here. The first card that we have is the Scratchman Apu, 1 cost, chump blocker of course, but the description is if you have a yellow supernova character other than Scratchman Apu, the character gains blocker, meaning the card alone is not a blocker. You have to have another supernova type card on the field for it to activate, right? And that could be your searcher, that could be any other supernova that you have. It doesn't matter what cost it is, okay? And the second card that we have is our searcher, one of our only searchers for the deck. It's 4 of the Monkey D. Luffy supernova. On play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal 1 supernova card, and place the rest at the bottom. Simple searcher. We run 4 of those, of course, 4 of the Scratchman Apus. Next we have the Capone Beg. Capone Beg is a blocker, 2 cost, 1k counter. Once per turn, if you have a supernova type character other than Capone that would be removed from the field, you could instead put it to your life cards face down. So, you know, it's not just a chump blocker. The ability is really useful, especially what it does, putting it face down on top of your life, meaning you can use your leader ability again in case your, opponent misses hitting the beg and instead accidentally hits your any other supernova type, essentially, right? So next we have our first 2k counter. It's the Zeus, OP11 Zeus. On play, add the top or bottom card from your life to your hand and KO a 5 cost or less. Pretty simple. Most of the time you only use it when you don't really like to take your life as much with Eustass Captain Kid, although it doesn't really matter at the end because we have cards like the SEC Kuma that just heal us and the Law that just heal us. So take that with a grain of salt. Next, our second 2k is going to be the X Drake, 3 cost, 3k. It does have a useful ability though. It's like a basic Usohachi, right? It's activate main, rest the character. If the number of your life cards is less than or equal to the opponent's, then you can rest one of their 4 cost or less characters. Pretty good. Next, we run 4 of those, of course, so 2 2k so far. Next we have the Jewelry Bonnie. We're only running 1 of these just because it's not that important of a card, but it's nice to have if you get it in your hand early. And I ran this when it first came out on OP12, just because I liked what it did. It made your leader a 6k for an entire turn, right? So it helped you to use less counter and be able to compete more with the other decks, and you're able to turn it into a blocker at the end of your turn, meaning you can reuse it again in multiple rounds, and you'll see that in the upcoming games. So that's really nice, and the trigger is really good. But let's get into the card. It's activate main, rest the character. One of your supernova leaders gains plus 1000, and this turn is Kid, right? Until the end of your opponent's next turn. And the trigger is if your leader has a supernova's type, you just play it out for free. That's basically it. Nice 1 card, maybe 2. I don't really know because I do love having the Red Hawks in there, which is one of our only event cards that we run in this deck. And so next is the 4 cost Kikunojo, 6k power. On KO, if your opponent's life is 3 or less, place the top card of your deck to the top of your life. So you just gain 1 life. And the trigger is if your opponent's life is 3 or less, you play the card out for free. Also another great trigger from life, right? And up next we have the 4 cost, one of the supernovas that you can turn into a blocker, is the Basil Hawkins. On KO, trash up to 1 card from your opponent's life, so they trash the top of their life cards and they lose resources. So the trigger is also really great. Draw 2 cards and discard 1 card from your hand in case you need to cycle your cards out. You get 1 extra draw from it, so it's really good trigger, really good card all in all. Next, our third 2k counter. It's the promo 88. Trafalgar Law, 2k counter, 4 cost 5k. It's essentially if your leader has supernovas, you can play it out for free if everyone's life totals 5 or less. So it's a really good card and a really good target for the 7 cost law. When you put it into life and everyone's life is low, you can play it out for free, right? So really great card. I know the West has problems getting a hold of this card. I'm not sure why. I play in the East, so it's, you know, very accessible here to get this card, and that's why I run it. Next we have the 6 cost 7k OP12 Kuma. Counter plus 1000 on play, trash 1 card from your hand and add 1 card to your life from the top of your deck. So basically a heal 1, and then on KO during your opponent's turn only. So, you know, if they somehow they get a trigger that KOs this Kuma during your turn, it doesn't work. It's only on the opponent's turn. On KO you add 1 card from the top of your deck to your life, so you heal 1, right? So you heal 2 times with this 1 card unless they bottom deck it. And it's a really good card all in all. Great addition to the Eustass Kid deck list. Next is the SEC OP10 Law, Trafalgar Law. It's the 7 cost 9k. On play, reveal a Supernova type character card from your hand, and then you just put it onto your life cards face up. Really good card. Also, you give 1 Rested Dawn to your leader. Okay, so really great card, big body to be able to play out and turn into a blocker. You attack in, turn into a blocker so they can't attack into it, right? So really good card. Next we have a 2 of Katakuri, 8 cost Katakuri. I used to run the 10 cost Ace instead of the Katakuri, and I think that was a mistake just because you don't have any extra Dawn left over to be able to play a blocker, a searcher, or even your event. And so 8 cost Katakuri I think is a lot better because the on play, if you don't know, it's on play, put up to 1 character with a cost of 8 or less on the top or bottom of your opponent's or of the owner's life area face up. And so you can target one of your cards, you can target your opponent's cards, but mainly your opponent's cards. Especially I like this addition because of the fact that Mihawk, right, green Mihawk in Zoro, it's like you're able to hit something that big, and it's just a great card all in all. So really good addition to the deck list too. Next we have the 8 cost Kid OP10. On play you may rest a character and trash 1 card from the top of your opponent's life, and the end of turn you can cycle a card as long as your opponent has 2 or less life, so you draw 1, trash 1. And you know, when you play this out, rest it, you're able to restand it with your leader ability, turn it into a blocker, they can't attack into it, and they trash 1 life. So, you know, I've seen decks that are built mainly to burn opponents' lives, and I think this deck list is basically a great, it's a great even out point to where you can burn their life, but you can also heal to stay alive for a long time, and it's a really great deck. And I think, like I said in my tier list, this is an overlooked leader, and I think he can do real great things. And our last card that we run a 3 of instead of a 4 of, because we played the Bonnie, right? 3 of is the Gum Gum Red Hawk, and its main is you rest 3 Dawn, so 4 Dawn total. You can KO a 5 cost or less as long as you and your opponent have 5 or more life. And the counter is the plus 3000 to your leader, just your leader, no characters. And that's basically it. That's the deck list, and let's get into the games. Alright everyone, we have our first game. It's against Black Monkey D Luffy, the starter deck one. And the opponent chose to go second, so they took second from us. Most of the time when you're Eustass Kid, you want to take second just because the curve of Dawn going second is very useful to you. On your 2 Dawn turn, you play a searcher or a blocker. 4 Dawn turn, Basil Hawkins or Kikunojo. 6 Dawn turn, Kuma or more Basil Hawkins or Kikunojos and stuff like that. Or you can Zeus Kikunojo, you know, there's lots of possibilities. And then 8 Dawn turn, you can play the Law or the Eustass Kid, and so on and so forth. You can see how it goes, and an even curve is better for us. So we go ahead and start with our 1 Dawn turn. We get nothing in our hands, so we just pass it over. They bring out the brand new, do a search. They're running a Navy type package, I would assume, right? So we attack for 6, and then we play out the Bege here. Okay. Now they attack into us for 5. We take that. We're not afraid. We're a 5 life leader. They're at 4 life. They play out the Kuzan. We play out the Basil Hawkins. but we do a search first. So we got another Basil Hawkins from the search. Play out the Basil Hawkins and then attack for 5. They take, I'm pretty sure, and then we... Oh no, they counter out, and then we turn our Basil Hawkins into a blocker with our leader ability. Now if they attack into us, we can just block and they end up trashing a life, right? More resources down the drain for them. So they do a search, they take a Tashigi, they attack into us for 5, we block and trash one of their lives. Now they're at 3 life while we're at 4 life. The brand new is now able to attack active characters because Kuzan's ability is when attacking, they can give one of their other navy types the ability to be able to attack into active characters, and so brand new's attacking our Bege. We go ahead and let that pass because we're not going to defend that, right? It's not worth. They attack for 6, we take, so we're able to use our leader ability. Or no, do we end up countering? Okay, we end up countering. Maybe there wasn't really... You could also, in that instance, if you wanted to, now that I'm looking back at it, you know, this is... I don't remember this game too well, but you're able to Basil Hawkins again and then reuse your leader ability, right? So if you do end up taking that, play out the Basil Hawkins, turn it into a blocker again, and then you can trash one of their lives. So, but either way, it works out. We add 1 Dawn to the Monkey D. Luffy, attack into 3. I think he lets this go. We attack into the Kuzan. I think he lets this go too. And then we Zeus to take the top of our life, so that we're able to use leader ability this time with the Hawkins that we have. And so in doing that, we get to KO their 3-cost Tashigi, activate main, right? So now no more Tashigi, bring out the Basil Hawkins, use the leader ability again, and turn it into a blocker. Perfect turn. Now they got the Jack. It's now a 12-cost, right? So they KO our Zeus, they attack into us for 6, we block. Oh no, they don't attack into us. Very smart on our opponent's side. So now it loses its blocker and we can just attack into them with the Basil Hawkins if we want to add a Dawn to it. But anyways, we go ahead, attach how many? I think we try to want to get rid of the Jack first, right? Or we play out the Kuma. Either is good plays. So we do the Kuma, trash the Kikunojo, and add a life. So we're at 4 life again, they're at 3 life. And then we attach 1 Dawn, attack for 6, and then attach another Dawn and attack for 6. Okay. Perfect. We use the leader ability, turn Basil Hawkins into a blocker again. So very smart decision there to use the Kuma instead to heal a life to be able to use leader ability. And so you can see how Eustass Kid, there's so many possibilities in this deck that you can do, so many things that you can do with this leader. And now they're on their 10 Dawn turn. They play out the 10-cost Kuzan. They're able to KO our Basil Hawkins because on play you KO up to one of your opponent's characters at the cost of 0, and during his turn all our cards get -5 cost, right? So he just KO'd the Basil Hawkins, and now he's gonna KO our Kuma, I'm pretty sure, with the Jack. Attacks into us first, we take, we gain, oh no, he does not, so he ends up losing that. We play the Eustass Captain. Now they're at 4 cards, right? They do have the 10-cost Kuzan and the 7-cost Jack on board, so they have a pretty decent board right now. But we go ahead and play out the Eustass Kid to trash one of their lives. Yep. Trash 1 life. Now they're down to 1 life. We attack for 5 and we attack for 7. They counter out of this. And they counter out of this too, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, they end up taking. So perfect. Now we play out the 2-cost Bege to protect our Eustass Kid in case they try to KO it, right? So they have to focus their resources on Bege first, which is really easy. They can just use the Jack to do it, right? So we go ahead and play out the Bege, pass the turnover. We can't use leader ability, but we are able to cycle a card out. And so I think here we just get rid of the Basil Hawkins because it's a little too late to do anything good with it. It is a good target for the 7-cost Law, but that's okay. They bring out the Sengoku blocker and bring back a brand new to search from their deck. Okay, so now they KO our Eustass Kid here, right? No, they KO the Bege first. Now they attack into us, into the Kid. We counter, no, we can't counter out. Oh, we do counter out with a 2k and a 1k Kuma. That's fine. We have to let this go and we end up healing 1, and they eventually give up. Very weird game. I remember this now. This game, they just ended up giving up because of the fact that we're at 4 life. We still have the ability to heal and whatnot, and I do think they bricked up towards the end. They did have a 2k. They only had the 2k. I don't think Kuzan's a 1k, right? So they knew after this match it would be over, essentially, right? So we went ahead and took the W. I think either way, even if the match kept going, we could have done a Katakuri and then put the Sengoku into their life and then attacked into them with 2 attached 2 Dawn to our Eustass kids, so 7k to them. They're at 6k, so they could have countered out of that one, and then we would have attacked into them again, or actually we might have just attacked into one of their characters instead to get rid of a body, and then it would have just spiraled from there. So all in all, a decent game. Too bad our opponent left early. Let's go on to the next one. Okay, up next we are going against Blue Kuzan. Now Blue Kuzan chose to go second. He does love going second too, so do we. So we take first, we mulliganed our hand, and we're stuck with 2 Beges and Apu, Kikunojo, Kuma. Not that bad of a hand, but it's on a odd curve, right? So on our second turn, we play out the Bege and the Apu. They play out another Searcher. They attack into us. We block with the Scratchman Apu just because we want to stay at 5 life and keep, you know, as much as that for our leader ability. Now they draw a Kuzan and a Tsuru with the Sengoku. We play out we attach 1, I think, right? Attack with 6 and then bring out the Kikunojo. Yep. That's the correct thing to do. Sequencing is very important in the One Piece card game, so always watch out for that. They attack into us for 5. We get the Basil Hawkins trigger. Great. Now let's cycle out some cards. We get rid of the Red Hawk just because I don't think we're going to be leaving 1 Dawn up this upcoming turn just because we have a Searcher and we have other things to play, right? Especially the next turn is going to be 7 Dawn, so we can play out a Kuma and a Searcher, get an extra card in hand instead of saving the 1 Dawn for a Red Hawk. But anyways, they use the Kuzan to stop our Kikunojo from attacking. We go ahead and swing for 5. They counter out of this. Oh no, they end up taking, wow. Okay, and we search, we take the 2k Trafalgar Law, great target for the 7 cost like we already said. Play out the Kuma, trash 1 card, which is the Beg, because we already have 1 on board, and heal. They attack into us, we take. They attack into us, we take. Now we have a 2k and 2 Searchers. They play out the Garp and bring out another Kuzan, stop our Kuma from attacking this time, instead of our Kikunojo, just because it's 7,000 power instead of 6, right? So we get the kid from draw, luckily. We go ahead and search. We take another 2k. Now we have 4 2ks, right? Really good. We play out the Eustass kid to trash 1 of their lives. You know, it's nice to deny resources, especially to Kuzan, because his hand draw is just insane, right? A lot of the things he can do with his leader. But like I was saying in my tier list, I think he requires a lot more support, and I think that rings true no matter, you know, even in this game. But we attack into them, they counter out, we attack for 6, they counter out again. We pass because we can't attack with the Kuma, and so we cycle a card. We get another 2k, but we don't really need it because our entire hand is all 2ks, right? We use a leader ability on Eustass Kid. Now here is a mistake on their end, but they did Red Rock our Eustass Kid, and we were able to put it into our life. That's too bad for them though, because we can take it back from our life, and you know, Bege puts it on top of our life face down, right? And so if he attacks into us with all these characters, we eventually get the Eustass Kid back to be able to trash another one of their lives. So bad play on their end. I think they should have just taken out like the Kikunojo or the Kuma, just because those aren't supernova characters and those characters can let me heal, right? So anyways, we get it back to the top of our life. They attack 5 with Sengoku. We counter out with a 2k. It's all we have in our hand. They attack again. We counter out with a 2k. They attack again with an 8. I think we counter out. We take this one, right? Just because the Eustass Kid is on top. So 8. We take. And then they attack again. We take. And then we counter out of the last one with 2 of our Trafalgar Law 2ks. So that ends up being 9. So we take this one for leader ability. Done. And then play out counter out with the 2 Trafalgar Laws. They attack, 2k, 2k. I think we save one of the Trafalgar laws. Yeah, we do. Just because you never know if we get a 7 cost law to be able to target to put into our life. So they have no other attacks left to do. They pass it back over to us, leaving 1 Dawn left up for the Ice Pheasant, right? So we go ahead and trash their life, attack into them. They counter out. Of course, they have to. 6 to 5. 7 to 5. Hold on one second. Let me go back actually like 20 seconds. Is there a reason why this failed? They countered out with a 1k Sengoku. Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't know what I was thinking. Attack with 6k. They counter out with a 2k Tsuru. We attack for 7 now, right? 8. I think another good play here would have been to... No, actually this is the right play. Attach 1 Dawn, attack for 8. And then play out the Scratchman Apu or do another search. And I think we end up doing another search here. The Ice Pheasant. So now, and they had to trash 1. They draw 1 though. So they have 5 cards in hand. We replace. We take another searcher. I think we take the 2k. Yep. And then we pass it back over. Use the cycle for the leader ability. Trash that. Trash the Basil Hawkins just because we don't need it. And use our leader ability on the Eustass Kid. So, good turn. We have a lot of bodies on board. A lot that can heal us. And again, they red rock our Eustass Kid blocker thinking that they can kill us. But it just goes up to our life again. And even if they did do that, even if they attacked, if they kept going, right? So let's say the best case scenario is they attack for 5 onto us. We use the Scratchman Apu as a 1k or the Bege. They attach 4 Dawn to Sengoku, which is probably what they'll do. 4, 5, 6, 7. So they attack for 7. Or they could do 6, right? So attack with 6 with the Kuzan. That's 2k. Attack 6 with the Sengoku. That's 2k. So there's 3 attacks left. And that's all in our life, and we have 1 more blocker on our field. So next turn, they would have lost anyways, just because they don't have a blocker really, aside from the Borsellino, but they don't have that in their hand. And, you know, that's just what happened. I think they could have used the Hina to stop one of their characters from being blocked, but, you know, that way all of them go through. But I think we would have won either way, and it was a good game, so... GG's to our opponent, and on to the next one. Okay, so we're here in our third game. It's against Red Blue Marco. Now, this deck that we're up against, you know, it usually has a different deck list, but the one we're going up against right now, he's playing a different deck list than what's normally in a Red Blue Marco, right? And it kind of works, kind of doesn't. So he was testing out his deck list too on a Marco, and so let's go ahead and get into the game though. He chose to go second. We're taking first again. You know, we mulligan this, I'm sure. Nothing good in hand. Now we have a Searcher and an Apu and 2 2Ks and a 6 cost Kuma. So perfect for us. We play out the Searcher, take the 2 cost Bege. So we have another blocker in hand. Okay. Pass it over. They play out a masked something. But what he does, if you don't know, I can show it up on the screen right here. It's like attached to Dawn, and then on attack, when attacking, you're able to KO a 3000 power or less character. And I didn't realize that, and it was kind of annoying, but it is what it is. And it's funny that he pairs it with the Monet too, which you'll see here in a bit. It's really interesting deck list or cards that he's using in this deck list. So 3 cost turn, we play out the Bege. I didn't know at the time that the masked whatever can KO 3000 or less. I didn't read it, which leads me to something else. Always read what cards do. Honestly, it's the best thing for everyone. Always read what cards do. I messed up and, you know, ended up wasting a blocker or wasting some Dawn. So anyways, we attack into them, they take. We play out the Bege and the Apu, and here you see. Actually, let's go back a little bit. We don't even have to show it up there. KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 2000 power or less. I was wrong. It's not 3000, it's 2000 power. Mask Deuce, Spade Pirates. It's a 2k counter also. So not bad, but go ahead. We read that a little too late because we already played out our cards, right? Sucks to suck, but it is what it is. Now we pass it over to them, and we're waiting on them to see what they'll do. They use their ability. Right, attach 1 to Marco. basically cycle some cards. They play out the Monet, minus 2000 our Bege. They attack into us and they kill the Bege. Perfect. They attacked into the Bege and then we blocked out. That's right, because they had another attack coming and then we 2k counter out of this. We end up taking it, never mind. So that's completely fine. We're at 4 life now. We do have the Kuma, so I can see why we took it. Attach one Don, attack into Monet, right? Or no, we attack into him, he's more important. But I also think Monet is not that bad of a target either, because now the cards that we're going to be playing, it's going to take a lot of effort to get minus them in power, even though Marco's ability lets you minus 1000 one of the enemy's characters, right? So either character would have been fine to hit. But we go ahead and play out the Basil Hawkins and turn it into a blocker, pass it back over to our opponent. They go ahead and attach one Don, use their leader ability, give minus 1000 to our Basil Hawkins, minus 2000, sorry. And they KO it with, what was it? They KO'd it with, I think it was Radical, no, not Radical, what am I saying? It was, I forget what card it was, but they were able to KO it. And so they go ahead, attack us with 7. They have 3 Dawn left still. Remember, it was the Basil Hawkins. We cycle out our cards, draw 2, trash 1. We ended up trashing the Kikunojo. So now they play out an Ivankov and another Mask Deuce. So their deck is really heavy reliant on KOing our low power body characters, right? Because now we're in our late dawn turns and I can just play out my Trafalgar Laws and Kumas and everything else to be able to make them waste more resources on trying to minus our power for them to KO some of them, right? So they got the Ivankov out for some draw, Mask Deuce out. They still got the Monet on board, which is a shame. We attach one. We get a Rested Dawn from Law. Attack into them, they take. They're at 1 life, and we use our leader ability on Law to turn him into a blocker. So now for those of you who don't know, let me just go back real quick. I want to go over that Ivankov card just to see it. Reveal the top card of your deck, play up to 1 cost 2 character card. 1 cost 2 character card, then return the remaining card to the top or bottom of your deck. And then when attacking, if your hand has 6 cards or less, you draw a card, so more draw power for him. Here, he tries to focus minusing power to our Law, so he attaches 1 to his leader, I'm sure, gives minus 2000 power to the Law. And I'm wrong, he ends up using Honesty Impact. Honestly, I forget these games that I've done just because I play so many of them. Like, I play so many games before I even think about putting the deck in a video, right? Because I really want to test it out first. I don't just play like 2 or 3 games and record the good ones and say it's good. I actually want to test the deck, and I actually want to go through a bunch of different other leaders to see how good this deck does into them. And so that's why I was saying in my tier list how I think Eustass Kid is overlooked, just because he is such a great leader, has great utility, great leader ability, great cards, great support in his deck, and just a great, deck overall. Anyways, they're able to KO our Law with the Honesty Impact, and that's completely fine. We lose a blocker, they attack into us, we take, and we play the Trafalgar Law out for free. But notice they still have their leader ability. They minus 2000 our Law. The Monet can minus 2000 again, minus 1000, sorry, and then they KO the Law with the Mask Deuce, so it doesn't matter in the end anyways. We go ahead and heal. We use the Zeus for sure, because we're able to heal one, so we attack into the Monet. They don't save it. We Zeus their Ivankov, right, so they get no more draw. We play out the Law and heal one, and then turn him into a blocker, and we put the 2k counter Law back into our life, so we're able to play him out again next turn. Really, really good thing that you can do there when you're, both players are low and you want free characters on board to attack, is put the 2k Law into your life and play it out for free. So anyways, they give minus 2000. after leader ability, and then they use Divine Departure. But notice this deck, I think this deck is wasting a lot of its resources on just trying to get rid of characters. I don't know, he's been on his 10 Dawn turn now for 2 turns, and he hasn't really played any big bodies out, right? So I don't know what other cards he's running, but attacks into us, gets rid of the Zeus, right? We play out the Trafalgar Law for free. Yep, use trigger effect because we know he can't, you know, minus its power unless he has like a 1 cost that can minus power like an Otama or something, which he does have an Otama, but he KOs our Zeus instead because it can only hit a 2k, right? So we get the Basil Hawkins from life, draw 2, trash 1, we trash the Kikunojo, we attack their Masked Zeus for 5, we play out the Kuma so we can heal 1, trash the Zeus, right? Yeah, heal 1, and then play out the Bege. But we attack for 2 first, attack for 7, they take, play out the Bege for blocker, done, make the Trafalgar Law, the 4 cost 2k counter, into a blocker, just so he can attack into it and he has to waste resources to be able to minus its power and then KO it that way. But we end up using the leader ability anyways to make him active again and use him as a blocker if we need to. So they go ahead and, what is this, Seaquake, our Bege. Anyways, they use 1 Dawn for that. Here I'm thinking they're going to bring out a big body, but they don't. They use their leader ability, give minus 2000 and play out the Marco. Trash a 3000 or less body. And so they didn't have another big body on board to, you know, to build their board essentially. So they attack 6 into us. We counter out. I think we take actually, yeah. Why wouldn't we take? So they got the Ivankov, and with the Ivankov, they bring out the 2 cost Duval, which you can see right here. Blocker. Look at 3 cards from the top of your deck and place them at the top or bottom in any order. So now he has a blocker on board, so he thinks he's safe and can get us next turn, right? But we have different plans for him. So they go ahead and place their cards on the bottom. We get the Red Hawk from, you know, hand, which allows us to counter out. We can't really use the main, right? Because you need 5 or more life. Everyone needs 5 or more life. So we do get it for a counter though. And so we play out the Law for sure here. Or maybe we go for lethal because they have 4 cards. So we attack with a 10. Yep. And then we're comfortable. Yeah. So we attack with a 10, attach 3 Dawn, attack with 10. They have to counter with 2, 4, 6, 3 2Ks, right? So that's 3 cards in hand, and it didn't seem like they had it, so they blocked out. And then we're comfortable attaching the rest of our Dawn here because that's a 3, 6, 7, that's a 12k swing. And even with 2k counters, they have no Dawn up, notice. Even with all 2k counters in their hand, that's 2, 4, 6, 8. That's only 2, 4, 6, 8. That's 2, 4, 5, 6. That's 13. That's 13. So they could have gotten out of this, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, that's 13. They could have gotten out of this and I would have been screwed. But I think we were a little cocky because they had no Dawn. They didn't, you know, we just swung for lethal anyways. But I think if we wanted to play it safe there, we would have probably just swung in normally with the Kid and then with the Kuma. And then we would have 7 cost Law, put our X Drake into life, and then save the Red Hawk, 1 Dawn for the Red Hawk to be able to counter out. And then if we would have taken life, we had a 2k counter anyways. And they don't have any rush cards, it seems, so we would have been fine. We would have just survived Ivankov, Marco, and Marco, yeah. All in all, a great match. Let's go on to the next one. So, okay, we have our last match here. It's against Red Black Koby. And I've never really played a lot against Red Black Koby, so we go ahead and do a search, get the Basil Hawkins, and we pass it over to them. They play out the Peacock. They play out another Peacock, I'm sure, yep. Do another search, and then they pass it back to us. They get the Honesty Impact from their search. We attach 1 Dawn, attack for... Oh no, we don't. We attack for 5, and then we attach 3 Dawn to the Luffy and attack for 5. Right? Just because we don't feel comfortable putting anything else out because their leader can attack active characters, I think, and they have a bunch of characters that their characters to attack our active characters. So it would have been a waste to play out blockers. Unless, you know, because then they just attack into those. Let's just use the blockers and save them for later when we really need them, so that they attack those instead of our life, right? So they go ahead and take this, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, they counter out. Don't use leader ability. We can't even on a Luffy. That's 1 cost. It's 3 to 8, right? So we pass it over. They play the Kuzan here. The same Kuzan that we saw a while ago. Attack for 5. We let that go, of course. It's just a searcher. They play out the Kuzan. We are on our 5 Dawn turn now. A good play here would be to Zeus the Kuzan, but that's okay. We can just also play out the Hawkins, attach 1, swing in for 6, turn our Hawkins into a blocker, and then pass it back. They do end up countering out. Pass it back over. We have a blocker, and we have another Basil Hawkins in life to either use trigger or use it again next turn if we really want to, but we have other cards that we can play which are good enough. So they attack into us, and their Kuzan, when attacking, right, they can one of their other navy types can attack into active characters, so I think they do that. Attack for 5. We block because we know they're going to attack into it anyways, so they end up trashing a life, and then the leader swings into us, which we take, and then I think we do trash to discard 1. No, we counter out. Okay, I guess we felt good enough to be able to counter out. Now is a good time for Kuma to be played out, right? So we attack for 5. They counter out, or they let this go, I'm pretty sure. They do counter out, so they only have 4 cards in hand now. So we heal with the Kuma, trash the Apu, and we can't use the leader ability, so we just pass it back over to them. We're at 6 life, they're at 2 life. So, you know, really, really good cards in this Eustass Kid deck. The Honesty Impact, we knew they had that, but because they KO'd it, we are able to heal 1. So now we have 7 life we're comfortable taking. Don't use the trigger on this Basil Hawkins just because we're thinking of using it next match. They attack into us again, we get a searcher. They attack into us again with the Koby, which I don't think they should have. Now we are able to cycle our cards, draw 2, trash 1, right? So we get rid of the searcher just because now we have the 6 cost Kuma and the 7 cost Law, which are really good cards for us. They use a searcher, and they take the Koby, you know, the OP11 Koby out, and so that they can use it and bring out another character that gets ephemeral or whatever. So now we attack into them, into characters, right? So they spend more resources on them, yep. And so 5k into Kuzan, counter out. Okay, now they only have 3 cards in hand. So we're in a good, decent position, right? We have 4 life, they're at 2 life, and we have our plays. So now we 7 cost Law, attach 1 rested, play the Bege, pass it over. Put the X Drake in life. So we get 2 blockers now, and if they try to get rid of our Law with any KO abilities, it goes to our life instead, unless they get rid of the Bege first. But the problem with Koby is they can attack into active characters. So we take this so that we can use leader ability next turn. They use the Peacock, plus 1000 brand new, Peacock again, plus 1000 brand new. They attack into our Bege. We let it go, because we want to use the blocker for another, you know, the other 2 cards that they have. They bring out the Koby. Okay, so their Hibari can now attack into our active character, or he can also attack into an active character when played. That's the leader ability. So they attack into it. It's 12. We 2k counter out of this for sure, just because we want to save it. 2k. We have the resources to drop. They're still at 3 cards. They let it go. They attack into us, we block, right? Or no. A good thing we could have done there is just block, but I guess we just weren't worried about it. We were a little too cocky, and so we get a decent trigger from life. It's the Kikunojo. Great. Perfect. Play out a Kikunojo. Now we have all our bodies. We have an 8 cost Kid now. We have something to heal with, so all our, you know, pieces are there for the puzzle. We attack into the brand new first, get rid of characters on board, attack into the Kuzan. Do they want to waste more cards? I don't think so. Attack into the Hibari. Do they want to waste more cards? I don't think so, right? play out the Kuma. Maybe we play out the Eustass Kid in this situation, but we do get rid of the Red Hawk for the Kuma and play out a Basil Hawkins. I forgot we're on 10 Dawn this turn, so it was better to play out the 2 bodies and turn the Basil Hawkins into a blocker to be able to trash 1 more of their lives, so we had more bodies next turn to attack with. So now we use leader ability on it, so really great turn, really efficient turn. And they just give up at this point, because if we blocked, they would have lost 1 life. If they tried to attack our board, you know, we would have healed, and it just would have kept going not their way, right? So this was a really good last game, and if you want to see more Eustass Kid gameplay, just feel free to comment below and I'll whip up some more gameplay for you guys. But Kid, really great deck. I think it's really overlooked. I think he'll do good in the OP12 post ban, and so this was Eustass Kid for you. Hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe for sure, and I'll see you in the next one.